Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to the second session or the second half of our Sunnahfollowers Kids program for this week. And mashallah, we just watched, I'm logging us on here too. We just watched episode 16. This was episode 16 of the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm gonna tell you something. It was pretty good. I have to admit, these movies are pretty good. I mean, it's very detailed. It's got some violence in it. I like how they showed them shooting the arrows. That's kind of graphic. It was graphic. You're gonna, well, that's life. But it's really good because we get to see just what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions went through. Allah sent that wind, which took away some of the men of the Quraysh and those Jews that had betrayed him. And then this episode took over with what happened after that. And that's what we're going to be discussing here. Okay, today I got the quiz. Let me set myself up here. Give me a second. Okay, I'm coming back. Give me a second. Oh, I'm probably frozen. I'm frozen. That's okay. Give me a second. I got to open up screens. Oh, look at that. Take a screenshot. I look like my sister in that picture. Okay, hold on. I look like my sister there. Screenshot. Okay. Let me put the screenshot into the quiz. Everybody, you should be able to see the quiz now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam. Okay, that's for the people here on Facebook and YouTube. Now let me show this quiz for there it is. People in Zoom. Getting ready to share my screen with you guys. Bam. Y'all can see it there in Zoom. Okay, this was episode 16, which talks about or showed what happened after the after Allah sent the wind, the sandstorm, to help the Muslims to defeat the Quraysh and the tribe of the Jewish tribe that betrayed them. So here's some questions we have. Let me put the questions up here, see if you guys can answer. Question number 1. After the storm, what did the Quraysh decide to do? Did they see no hope and just left? Or did they regroup and plan to fight again? Which answer is correct? Say that again. Okay, after the storm, what did the Quraysh decide to do? Did they not see any hope and just leave? Or did they regroup themselves and plan to fight again?
Regroup themselves and plan to fight again.
Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Yes. No.
No.
Okay. Who said no? Go ahead. No.
They said they saw no hope in that.
Exactly. That's the correct answer. They didn't see any hope. I mean, after that storm had left, half the men were killed. So they said, my God, we can't fight with a storm. We can't fight under conditions like this. So they left. They didn't regroup and continue. They left. Good job. Okay, next question. What words did Allah send down after he sent that storm? What verses of the Quran did Allah send down? Did he send down words telling the companions to thank him for saving them? Or did he send down verses of the Quran telling men that they should go and get married? Or did Allah send down the verses of the Quran telling women to wear hijab at this time? Which answer is correct? Which verses came down after the storm? The verses telling the companions to thank him for the victory he sends to them? Or did the verses telling men to marry women? Or did the verses of hijab come down? Go ahead, Sabrina.
Words telling the companions to thank him for saving them.
You guys agree?
Yes.
Yes, mashallah, mashallah. Who can remember when did the verses of hijab come down? What battle was it that Allah sent down the verses telling women to cover themselves publicly? Was it the battle of Badr, the battle of Uhud, or the battle of the trench? Which battle was that? Can anybody remember?
The battle trench. Battle of the trench.
No, the trench is this one. Well, go ahead.
Battle of Uhud.
Say it again.
Battle of Uhud.
Not Uhud. It was Badr. It was after the battle of Badr that Allah sent down the verses of hijab for the women. And also, guys, the battle of Badr. It was after the battle of Badr that Allah sent down the verses forbidding the Muslims from intoxicants too. So all of those verses came down after Badr. This is the trench. Battle of the trench is the third major battle. This is the battle that Allah sent down words telling the companions to thank him for the victory that he's given them, the miracles he's sending through the wind and stuff for victory. This was the trench. Okay, what about this one? After Allah sent that wind, what did the prophet do when he learned that that the Quraysh had went back, that the Quraysh had turned around and went back to Mecca as a result of the wind? What did the prophet do? Did he pray and thank Allah? Or did he just go home to rest? Or did he cry for his men? What did the prophet?
Thank Allah.
You guys
and he thanked Allah.
You guys agree? Did he pray and thank Allah?
Yes.
Yes. Good
Yes.
job. And that's what we learned from him. You know, whenever Allah sends victory, because as Muslims, we never lose hope. There's a lot of non-Muslims out there. You guys know it. You go to school. How many of you have had classmates who try to kill themselves? We hear about that all the time. Social media bullying. Kids get bullied in school, or kids feel like there's no help, so no hope, so they take their own lives. As Muslims, we never do that. You never let life cause you to take your own soul, because we always have hope. Never give up. Allah will always change your condition to something better. There's always hope. Allah can cause a wind to blow a window out in your house and lift you up and carry you out of a tower. That's happened before. We actually got stories, real life stories of that happening. A person was locked up in a tower, but then the wind blew and a storm came, a tornado lifted that person out that tower and took them away and brought them back down to safety. So as Muslims, we never give up hope. Hope is a component of faith. I want y'all to remember that. The prophet said you will never be a believer unless you have love for Allah, fear of his punishment, and hope of his mercy and his help in your heart. And so the prophet taught us to never give up, to always keep fighting in life. And then when Allah does send his victory to us, pray and thank him. If you don't pray and thank Allah for helping you, that's when Allah won't help you. So when you come upon those Muslim kids that tell you, oh, nothing good ever happens to me, Allah doesn't do anything for me, you need to ask them, what have you done for Allah lately? What have you done for him lately? Ask them that. Because if Allah is not helping you, if Allah is not sending good things to you, that means that you didn't thank him when he did before. Whenever we stop thanking Allah for the goodness, the prophet said Allah will take it away. So that's very important with that part of the story. And so after the Quraysh went back home, they met together. And how did they react regarding their defeat? Was it that they could not figure out why the Prophet Muhammad kept winning the battles? Or did they get angry and burn the town down? You know, burn it down. What Medea say? Burn it down. Did they just burn the town down? Or did they not do nothing when they went home? Which answer is correct?
Now figure why the prophet kept
They could not figure out why the prophet.
Exactly. Exactly. They couldn't figure out how he kept winning. And that's how the Kafirs react. When Allah sends good things to us, whenever Allah helps the believers, the non-Muslims stand back looking like, what happened? How did that happen? Why did that person keep coming out on top? Why is she always the smartest one in class? Why is she or he always the best at what they do? You know, that's what happens. When we don't give up on Allah, he won't give up on us. He'll cause miracles to happen. He'll cause goodness to happen. And we'll leave the other people wondering why and how. So at this meeting that the Quraysh had, some of them decided to take an action. What did some of the Quraysh decide to do? To go to Yemen and ask for help? Or did they decide we're just going to go back, we're just going to stay here in Mecca and kill all the Prophet's people? Which answer is correct?
tribe.
Huh?
Kill the prophet's tribe.
Everybody agree? Did they decide to just start killing?
I think they went to Yemen and asked for help.
MashaAllah. That's the correct answer. No, they didn't go and kill the Prophet's tribe because that would have been killing their own. Remember the Quraysh, they were his tribe. Okay, but what they decided to do was to go to Yemen. One of them wanted to go to Yemen and ask the people of Yemen to join and help them to defeat him. Okay? And in the meantime, while the Quraysh were sitting at home trying to figure things out, we had the Qurayza tribe, the tribe that betrayed the Prophet, the Jewish tribe that betrayed him. What did they plan to do? Were they planning to make a surprise attack against the Muslims? Or were they planning to kill their women and children? Or were they planning to convert to Islam? What did they plan to do?
Kill their wives and children.
Kill the wives and children.
Does everybody agree?
Yes.
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 That's one of the things they came up with. And to be honest, all three of these answers, because some of the men of the Qurayza, they wanted to make another attack. Then some of them suggested, why don't we just kill our wives and children? And the reason why they came up with that was because back in those days, women and children were not of any value. Because if ever there was a war, whoever won would take the women and children as slaves. So rather than give the Muslims that right, that's why they said, we'll just kill our wives and children, because that way there's no spoils that they can take from us. And then there was a few that said, why don't we just convert to Islam? So the Jews couldn't figure out what to do. They were busy trying to they were arguing over all three of these things. But before the Jews could even really decide anything, their plans were foiled. Why were their plans foiled? Was it because the Prophet and his army arrived and surrounded them? Or while they were planning, their leader just died, had a heart attack and died? Which answer?
Their leader died.
You guys agree?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, it's the first one. That's how it ended. While they were sitting in there trying to figure out what to do, the prophet and his army arrived and surrounded them. And that's how it went off. Okay? They were surrounded. Remember? And that's when the prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sent delegates. He sent some of his men to go and speak to them. And when the Jews saw the men approaching, what did they do? Did they surrender? But did they agree that they would surrender if the prophet would allow Ibn Mu'ad to be their judge, or did they just run away? What did
They agreed to surrender.
Good job. They agreed to surrender as long as the prophet would make Ibn Mu'ad their judge. Good job. And so what happened was the prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, allowed them to surrender. He made Sa'd ibn Mu'ad the judge, because Sa'd ibn Mu'ad used to be a Jew, but he had converted to Islam. That's why they wanted him to be the judge of them breaking their treaty. And he made his verdict. But did the Qurayza accept his verdict? Yes or no?
I do not.
Yes.
Everybody agree?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh, yeah. That's how it went off. No, they didn't accept his verdict. And that's what makes them so bad. You know, every time they enter into an agreement with the Muslims, oh, if we'll do this, we'll do that. But then when the prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would hold on to the agreement, they never honored it. This is what made them such bad people. You know, subhanAllah, they never, ever, ever honored their agreements. And that's how it ended. That's how it ended with the Jews, again, not wanting to accept the verdict of Sa'd ibn Mu'ad. And so when we meet next week, it's going to pick up there. We're going to see what happened when the Jews refused to accept his verdict. What did the prophet do? Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's where we're going to pick up next week. Okay, mashallah, this was a very good session of our Sunnahfollowers Kids. I'm so glad everybody came and participated. It was so good and wonderful seeing everybody. SubhanAllah, we learned a great hadith today. We learned about the orphans. We learned that any child that does not have a father is an orphan. And we learned that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, for those of us who are good to the orphans in this world, we will be close to him on the day of judgment. And we also learned that there are certain different things we can do to show our kindness to the orphans. We can invite them over to play with us. We can give them things and make special treats for them. And then also today we learned from the story of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that as Muslims, we never lose hope. We never allow life to make us feel trapped. We never allow life to make us feel that there's no way out. There's always hope, because Allah does make miracles happen. Allah will send a miracle. We just have to believe that, practice our religion correctly. And then when Allah sends the miracle, thank him, and he'll keep sending miracles. So, inshallah, I want all of you to make sure that you join my 6 o'clock class tonight too, because my 6 o'clock class, I'm going to be speaking about how to get along with each other. And then also tonight, Brother Mukhtar will be doing the life of the Prophet Muhammad too. And I think he's talking about the Battle of the Trench. Yeah, I think, or one of the battles. So make sure you guys are here for Brother Mukhtar's class tonight too at 7. All right. So I'm very proud of all the kids. I want to thank you all for joining. Subhana Kalahuma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum. Until 6 o'clock, everybody.
Walaikum salam. Bye.
Walaikum salam.